And hello everybody, Peter here. Let's do another You Send It, I Art It. It's time to really get down into it. I have right here an envelope which is bursting at the seams. Stuff was literally falling out of it, as you can see here, like so. Look at these. These look like a couple of water brushes or whatever they're called. All right, looks like I'll have to actually open it now. This is a serious envelope. It is duct taped shut. It says Neocolor 2 water soluble wax pastels. These are water brushes. They are brushes already filled with water. I thought that they would make a good video for drawing, and I don't use them, so there. Do whatever you want with them, but you can make a video on it if you want. I don't know. To work them, just brush the tips of the brush on the pastels and you can paint with it. Yeah, so bye. That's it. And this is that me? Is this me? Or is this just a guy? Is this just a guy saying Peter draws? Instagram, Artman4467. Thank you so much, Artman. Let's as you can see here, I think this is the brush. It's a little bit green on the tip there. That's the one he must have used to test it out. Oh, so we got two different options here: a finer tip and a kind of broader tip. What do you guys think? Let's hop right into it. And so I got started, which I'll admit right now that it's been a while since I've used crayons, but I didn't feel like I was stooping down, and that's not something you should feel like you're doing. You shouldn't feel like you're better than any other art supplies. Like, you're not too good for crayons. You're not too good for finger painting. I should do another finger. I do have one finger painting video, but it wasn't very good. I think I could do better. You should always think you could do better, but you're not better than any specific art supplies. But these crayons might be better than me because they're very fancy crayons, and I wasn't quite sure how to use them. Whereas, was I supposed to get the crayon wet and then put it on the paper, or get the paper wet and then put the crayon on it, or get them both wet and combine them together in one great force of art making? What I ended up doing, which is what I think he suggested in the letter there, was I used the water brush and just kind of brushed away on the tip of the crayon there and loaded up the brush with the bright colorful pigment, and then unloaded it on the paper, which sometimes I pre-wetted with the water brush. Water brush is really cool. This is the first time I've used the Derwent ones. I've used a couple of other brands, and they all seem pretty much the same to me. Sometimes, like some of them leak a little bit more, and sometimes you want them to leak a little bit more, but only when you squeeze them. Sometimes it's a little bit frustrating when you give them a good squeeze and like no water comes out, because you want to, I don't know, it's a water brush. You want water to come out. Anyway, so it felt weird. Like I wasn't even, the way I was using the crayons, I wasn't even sure if they needed to be crayon shaped. I really could have just had like little blocks of the water soluble wax. What they should have is little blocks of water soluble wax and stuff they sell that you can get, and then little molds, and you can somehow heat up the wax and pour them into the molds, and that way you don't have to worry about like the crayons breaking or getting too short or sharpening them. And you can get like different sized molds, like maybe if you have big hands and the crayons feel too small in your hands, or maybe you do want like a 3-pointed crayon or like a triangular. I don't know. I feel like you got more options with wax. It's like something you can heat up and break down, melt it, build it back up again. You got so many options. I mean, maybe you could make your own mold. How hard is it to make a mold? You just make it out of clay. You can mold a mold, right? You can get mold sphere molds. that's a whole nother market right there. I don't know how it works. I mean, yeah, it's endless. The molds for the molds for the molds. Anyways, I think they should just sell the blocks of wax. I know they probably do sell blocks of wax, and then you can melt them into your own crayons. Because, first of all, sometimes I like the little wrappers on crayons, but then it's annoying if the little wrapper on the crayon slides even once. It starts sliding a ton. It never stops sliding. But it's nice to have. But then when you take the wrapper off the first time, then your fingers start sliding a little bit. And there's no. I mean, I guess wax. That's the whole point of wax. It's slippery and slidey, and there's no friction. Anyways, for most of this drawing, like I said, I kind of brushed on the tip of the crayon and then brushed on the paper. But at one point, I was doing this while streaming, and they convinced me. People in the chat convinced me to draw the actual lines on the paper, and you see those bright purple lines right down the middle of the paper, and I regretted it immediately. They were just like, the rest of my drawing was all poofy and hazy, like there were no like strong, stark lines in there, and then suddenly those lines were there, and I wasn't quite sure what to do with them, and I couldn't get rid of them. I tried, like erasing them a little bit, kind of worked, kind of didn't, and I tried covering up with water, kind of worked, kind of didn't. It was just so, but that's one of the things, you got to learn to let go with it. I didn't know what to do, but if I hadn't told you that I did it by accident and didn't plan it out, and that I sincerely regret those lines, you probably would never have known that it was something I didn't plan on, or didn't mean to do, or wished I hadn't done. That's sometimes as artists, we get caught up on our own little mistakes, and we think everyone else sees them right in our faces, right in their faces like we do, but no one else, for the most part. They see the big picture, and they don't see all the little things that we saw as we did it one by one. They see it. I don't know what I'm saying, but just keep making things. You'll be okay. No, but people appreciate that you're making things. I promise. They do. That's okay. Okay, I'm gonna go now. I've got a bottle of water here. I have to finish drinking. So I'm going to go do that for the rest of the day. All right, goodbye.